Hoi, it's Lee Entity, and I know that Halloween is right around the corner, and I love it. Whether that may be telling scary stories, pumpkin carving, trick-or-treating, etc., I wanted to add my little addition to the tradition. And I will be giving you, my little candy corns, my top 5 builds that are quick and easy to build on Minecraft. I've also kept in mind for those who are building on survival, hardcore, whatever your daredevils want to do, so I made the resources relatively easy to obtain. That sounds like a sweet treat to me. But before we do that, please like and subscribe down below, share and comment on this video, and now it is time for us to go. Okay, so let's start off with the easiest build, which is the classic graveyard. It is so easy that the graveyard requires only 6 blocks, one of the most obtainable resources in the game to craft with, which is stone stairs. But to get the surroundings to match the vibes, you will need, in order of importance, stone brick stairs, dirt, coarse dirt for contrast, path block, also for contrast, lantern, dead bush and dead coral. The pottle that surround is also a nice touch to have in the background. Work smart, not hard, people. So to build this build, all you need to do is to place the stone stairs back to back from each other. You'll then need a placement block that could be literally anything such as dirt and use it to place an upside down stair. After place 2 stairs on top the same way that you've done for the bottom, and that is ultimately the grave done. Now, for the site around it, because it's looking really plain right now, place dirt, coarse dirt, and path blocks randomly for some nice variation. Go nuts with it! I'll also continue the pattern going slightly away from the build so that the digging process wasn't clean, aka not contained into a box shape. The addition of lanterns really illuminates the build from a distance, when you're not using full bright that is, and the dead bush along with the dead coral simulates the dying vegetation in the vicinity of the grave. And I think that's pretty much it. You can add your own touches of course and play with it and stuff, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So let's move swiftly on to build number 2. Okay, the next build is very spoopy, which I would like to call Skull Street. Although it's simple in aesthetic, I see that it is very effective whilst creating an interesting walkway. For this build, it's a bit more challenging because the resources required to craft some of these. Obtaining the skeleton skull would require a charged creeper, blast, killing a skeleton. I recommend getting a trident of channeling and doing it that way. And to be careful because the explosion will hurt a lot if you go about it wrong. For the wood skull, it'll be easier to have a looting enchantment to the highest degree, increasing your drop rates from a meager 2.5% to 5.5%, which isn't a lot, but it's better than nothing. So, onto the construction. In order of importance, you will need a stone block and its slab counterpart, pistons, a lever, an armor stand, skeleton skull, wither skull, redstone dust, and a block that matches the surroundings for cleanup. The last 3 again are optional, but are recommended to add some colour and to rebuild the terrain when blocks are destroyed. Now, to start off, build using a stone block and extend it to how far you like. Do not be shy. A key tip is to add some slabs to create different levels in terrain so it doesn't look too flat. Using slabs will also help us later. After you finish the road, dig down and get 2 pistons and place them 1 block away adjacent to the area that is 1.5 blocks tall. This is important, remembering to add a full block to the bottom to the piston and adding a slab block on the top. Once done, you can get 2 levers and slap them on there. Place the armor stand in the hole, preferably on a diagonal whilst using a skull on it, and you can finally use 2 levers to push the blocks on the stand. If done right, the stand should be concealed, leaving us with this beautiful result. Using the same technique to create as many skulls as you like, remembering to use the same method. Scatter the remaining skulls around the area to add some colour, use some redstone dust. It will really tie the whole look together. And there you go, a horrific hill for the holidays. Let's keep this rolling by moving on to number 3 on the list. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a break with this one, making a very simple pumpkin patch. It is so quick to do that this can be done literally last minute without any hassle whilst looking good. It is so easy to build on a large scale or even placing many of these at random to really light up the woods. Now you guys will be making me jealous. So in order of importance, you'll need a pumpkin, a carved pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern, path block, green and lime candle, hay bale, bone meal, and a block for cleanup. First of all, because this build is so simple, arrangement is key. I recommend by placing the pumpkins on different levels and using different types to add some contrast. Once happy with the pumpkins, use lime and green candles to add the stalks. You could use sea pickles, but I thought that they were way too chunky for this build. Next to the pumpkins, again utilizing different levels, add some hay bales around, both horizontally and vertically. You can even place them in the ground. Now that all of the crops have been added, use the path block to show more roughage to the ground, using it rather sparingly. We don't want to use too much for this. The bone meal can also be used to add much needed grass and to add some life into the area. This is a pumpkin patch, guys. Although this is spooky, we don't want this dead. The pumpkins are growing, they're alive. And after you do that all amazingly, that, my friends, leads to this little pumpkin patch that just screams cute. Now let's keep this rolling and go on to the next one. The next one I have for you guys is a Scarecrow that is really basic but looks anything but. Now, I don't know why people overcomplicate Scarecrows so much, because I often find that the simplest ones to be more easy on the eye. In order of importance for this, you will need an armor stand, leather armor, any colour of choice. I'm going with black, some water, farmland, dirt, wheat seeds, path block, and that's pretty much it. For this, I recommend building the Scarecrow first and then building the surroundings afterwards, kind of like putting it around it. Place an armor stand where you like, place the leather, armor, and pumpkin on it afterwards. That's practically finished in 2 steps. But let's also give it some crops to protect it over by placing some water source blocks and farmland into the mix. Place the wheat seeds onto the farmland and you can either wait for it to grow or do use bone meal to speeden it up. For the rest of the patches, cover it in blocks and dirt for some variation. Adding trapdoors for the build is a choice. I personally like it because it matches the colour of the ground whilst also watering the plants, but you can also leave them open to reveal the cool blues from the water. This leaves us with a Scarecrow that will protect your crops. From what? I don't know. We don't have any mobs that steals crops. Don't think about it too much. It's there, it's chilling, and that's all that matters. I think we should move away from pumpkins and start on a structure. This build is a mysterious well. Legends have it that those who look too deep in it get entranced by the emerald hues of this substance luring them in. Because the walls are too high, when the victim comes to, they struggle all they can, but due to exhaustion, they succumb. But luckily for you guys, this is just a decorative and no dying is necessary. So, in order of importance, you'll need any glass colour of choice. I chose in lime green, the same colour carpet, glowstone, stone brick slabs, cobblestone slabs, moss block, moss carpet, and leaves. Start by digging a 2x2 hole, the deeper the better. Don't worry, we're not burying a body. Once done, place glowstone at the bottom, adding the carpet on top. This will allow some illumination whilst not being burdened by the texture of glowstone. Ugh! In a repeating sequence, place a layer of glass every other level. This causes a fogging effect. Note, this is not effective when you're full bright. Afterwards, place some stone bricks around the hole, building it 2 blocks high. Surrounding the blocks, you can add some contrast, such as placing some slabs from both stones. This build is practically finished, but you want to make it look a bit more overgrown and unkempt by adding some moss and leaves. Don't be modest, scatter it around everywhere. The more unkempt, the better. And that is the Well of Worries. Build if you dare. Woo! And that is pretty much it. Mix and match these builds. Tell me which one's your favorite in the comments down below. Subscribe, stay safe, have fun, and I will see you all next time. Bye!